Hello, my dear friends. We're going to go straight into the next daf to be ahead a bit. Says the Mishnah, נפל הבית עליו ועל אשתו, יורשי הבעל אומרים אישה מת הראשון ואחר כך מת הבעל. יורשי האישה אומרים בעל מת ראשון ואחר כך מת האישה. בית שמאי אומרים יחלוקו, בית הלל אומרים נכסים בחזקתם. כתובה בחזקת יורשי הבעל, נכסים היוצאים בה בחזקת יורשי האב. So before we start this Mishnah, I want to explain that when a woman gets married to a husband, there's three types of possession that she brings in. Not in every time, but three types of possession that are possible. A is a ksuva, that the husband is mischayev, that if she dies, that if he divorces her or he dies, he's going to give her a ksuva. That's one. Two is nichse milug. Nichse milug means nechosen that she brings in when she gets married, that belong to her, that she brings into the marriage. And it's a chosen that the husband eats peris, but the keren belongs to the isha. And if the nechosim go bad in value, and then he divorces her, he gives her what's left. He doesn't have a chrayas on the etzem value of the field that she brought in. That's nichse milug. And nichse tzoin barazel is nechosim are strong like metal, meaning that she brings in also to the marriage, but the difference is, before she brings it in, we estimate it, we say this land is worth £100,000. Now the husband could use this land and do whatever he wants, but if he divorces her, he has to give it back. And if it's worth less than £100,000, he has to make sure to pay her back £100,000, the value of the field when she brought it into the marriage. Those are the three types of obligations that a man to his wife when he divorces her. Now the following story is, a house fell on Yaakov and Rachel, a husband and wife, and now we have an argument. The Yerushim of Yaakov say that now they don't have kids together from the same, they don't have kids together. His Yerushim, let's say his brothers or his kids from another wife's claim. First Rachel died, therefore what to do when a woman dies, a husband yarshin her, therefore Yaakov yarshin her. And now Yaakov died, so we yarshin, not only we yarshin Yaakov, we yarshin all the possessions of Rachel. And the Yerushim of Rachel, her family, let's say her father, say no. First Yaakov died, so he has to give back the nichse minug, nichse tzoy barzan, and the ozok sova. And only afterwards Rachel died. And therefore, we owed all these, we yarshin all the nechosim of Rachel that was owed by Yaakov, the nichse minug, nichse tzoy barzan, the ksova. So Beis Shammai say, Yachloik, we don't know what to do, so we split up. And Beis Hillel says, depends. Nichse tzoy barzan is bichiskoson. And we're going to see in the Gemara straight away who's considered the chazak on it. But ksuva, it's bicheskas yershei abal, because the ksuva of Yaakov to Rachel is a chiyuv. It's not something that belongs to Rachel. It's a chiyuv that Yaakov owes. So we don't know if the chiyuv's chal or not, because we don't know who dies first. So we leave the nechosim where it is by the Yerushim of Yaakov. But masha'enke nechosim and nichnosim v'yoitzim imo, that means nichse milug, that the capital, that means the keren, is always belongs to the isha, so it's in ha chazaka, so that stays in her family. To Yerushim isha, that means her father. And Beis Shammai, you said yachloiku, it goes for sure on nichse milug and nichse tzoin barazel. The shaila is if on ksuva as well or not. It's a Gemara in Nechoyetz. Let's see the Gemara Kuf Nun Ches on base. Says the Gemara, who Beis Hillel said that the nichse tzoin barazel b'cheskoson b'cheskas mi. Who is it? Rabbi Yochanan Amar b'cheskas mi, Rabbi Yochanan b'cheskas Yerushei Abba. רב אליעזר אמר בחזקת יורשי האישה, ורב שמעון לקיש אמר משובר כפרה, רב שמעון בן לקיש משום בר קפרא אמר יחלוקו, וכן תני בר קפרא אוי ועללו באים מרש, ועללו באים מרש יחלוקו. So there's a machloikes, a three-way machloikes. Rabbi Yochanan says that the nichse zoin barzel or becheskas Yoshia Baal. And the reason why, because since the Baal took a full achrayus on these nechosim, that if she brought in a value of a field £100,000, she has to give back £100,000. The husband has to give back. So that means it's fully in his obligation. It's his now until he gives it back. So therefore, if he dies, we assume that we leave in the chazaka of his yorshi, not of her yorshi, because it's in his power. And Rabbi Lezer says no. When Besira says becheskasa means becheskas yorshi isha, the family of the isha get it. And the reason why the Rashbam says that she brought it in from her family, so it comes from her family. And Rab Shimon Lakish says that they split. The Nichse Milug is split because they both muchzik, like we said, that one has a title that the full obligation on it, the no Yerusha Baal. Yerusha Isha say it comes from us, so they both consider muchzik. Therefore, Yachloiku, and also the Bryce of Bar Karpra, it says that since they both have a title, they come into Yarushan and they come into Yarushan, so they both consider muchzik, and therefore Yachloiku. All the Chur, Beisila, and Beishamai, therefore what's the Machlokes? So Enochinami, Lefi Bar Karpra, Beishamai and Beisila agree on Nichse to Barzel, but the Machlokes says on Nichse Milog. Also on Ksuva Lefi Sam Shittis. Says the next Mishnah. נפל הבית עליו ועלימו, אלו ואלו מודים שיחלוקו. אמר רבי עקיבא מודיעני בזו שנכסים בחזקתם. אמר לו בן עזה על החלוקים אנו מצטערים אלא שבאת לחלק עלינו את השווים. Says the Mishnah, another case where we have a Sophic who died first, a house fell on him and his mother. So we have here Rachel, who does not have a husband, and she has possessions, and she has a son Yosef. And the house fell on both of them, and we don't know who died first. So the Yershim of the mother come and say, first Yosef died, and then the mother, and therefore all the possession of the mother goes to our family. And the Yershim of Yosef say, no, the mother died first, and the Nechosim of the mother go to Yosef. Now Yosef died, so Yershim, the mother as well. So says the Mishnah, Bein Beisila and Bein Beishamai, you argued in the past Mishnah, is here they admit that we split it up because no one's muchzik in these nechosim. Comes Rabbi Akiva, he says, I admit, and the Rashbam explains, doesn't mean I admit, because he's not admitting to anyone, just because we use the lotion of we admit that there's no argument, so Rabbi Akiva used that lotion. That even in this case, Beisila hold that the nechosim and the Becheskosam. And we're going to see in the Gemara again, who did that mean? B'nechosim of Yersha Ein or Yersha ben Yosef? But now they told her about Akiva, on the argument already that to Beisila and Beishamai have in the past Mishnah, we upset that there's no clear psak and there's arguments between these Tanoim. You coming in a place where we're saying that there's no arguments, you coming to add another machloikes? What's going on over here? It's a bit schwer to understand Ben Azai, did he come here with Svara to say there's no machloikes, so he's just upset, soft, the shitta that there's no machloikes, why are you bringing a machloikes? Says the Gemara, Becheskat mi, Rabbi Amar Becheskat Yoshe'em, Rab Zera Amar Becheskat Yoshea ben. Kisalik Rab Zera kam Beshitate de Rabbi Ila. And then here we not go with this part, and we jump to אמר רב זרע, שמאמינה אווירה דארץ ישראל מחתים, את העממי אמר רבי אוי והוחזקה נחלה באותו שבט. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Akiva said that even here there's an argument where the house fell on the mother and the son, and Beisil say nechosim b'cheskosim. Who's b'cheskasu? So Rav Hila says it means b'cheskas Yershaim. We give the nechosim of the mother Rachel to her family, supposed to Lavan. And we're going to soon see why they're called muchzik. Rab Zera says, B'cheskas Yosha ben. Because the ben Yosef was many Yarshim the mother, so the Chazaka is that he Yarshim and therefore his Yarshim get it. So we have here argument between Rabbi Ila and Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Ila goes with the mother's Yarshim, and Rabbi Zera says the Yarshim of the son. When Rabbi Zera went up to Eretz Yisrael, he changed his mind and he said, no, Rabbi Ila was right. That he goes to the Yarshim of the mother of Rachel, to Lavan. And said Rabbi Zera, we could see from here, since I changed my mind when I went to Eretz Yisrael and I got bigger clarity in this thing, we could see that the heir of Eretz Yisrael makes it cleverer, because until now, when I was in Chutz La'aretz, I thought that goes to the son. Now when I came to Eretz Yisrael, I realized that Rav Ila was right. So we could see the land, the heir of Eretz Yisrael makes it cleverer. And what's really the reason, says the Gemara, that Chizkosom, the Yersheh of the mother, so the Yersheh of the son, we understood the Svara that goes, the Rashbam explains, that he meant the son's many Yarshim the mother. When the mother and the son, normally the son Yarshins, so therefore it goes to his Yershim. But what the Svara that should go to the Yershim? Why the Yershim of the mother considered Muchzik? Says Abaye, because was Muchzik Nachalo Bo'isa Shevet. That means Rachel comes from another Shevet, from a husband that she had her son Yosef with. So Yosef is from Shevet Yosef, obviously. Rachel's from another Shevet. Let's call her Shevet Reuven. So therefore, Hanechosim Muchzik now, when she's alive, that belongs to Shevet Reuven. She's from Shevet Reuven, a person goes after her family. And therefore, we keep it, the Yerusha and the Chazaka of that Shevet, in Shevet Reuven, to therefore Father Lavan Yarshins her. Continue the Gemara, Amar lo ben Azai, lechalukim anu mitztaharim. Amar Rav Shmuelai, Ada Hamra ben Azai tamid chaver, de Rabbi Akiva hu, de ka'amar le shebata. So we learned the Mishnah, Ben Azai told him, oh, we're upset about what they're arguing, you coming to make another argument. So Rav Shmuelai says, from here we could see, Adam means Zoysomeres, that Ben Azai wasn't only a Talmud of Rabbi Akiva, he was a Talmud Chava, he was a Birn at his level. How do we know? Because the language is used in the Mishnah that Rabbi Azai spoke to Rabbi Akiva. When you talk to your Rebbe, you talk him and you say a third person. The Rebbe said, you don't say you said. But here Ben Azai tells Rabbi Akiva, Shabbosa, you came. How does he use such a lashon to his Rebbe? Elamai, it must be, it wasn't just a Talmud, it was a Talmud Chava, means a Talmud, but also like a friend, and therefore you could use such a lashon, of direct lashon of Shabbata, that you came, because he was a Talmud Chava. Thank you very much. We shall all be blessed. This week's parasha, Parashas Toldos, interesting parasha about telling the Bechorah and getting the brachas from Yitzchak. Very interesting to understand how Yitzchak Avinu thought that the bracha should go to Esau. I heard a very nice pshat from my father in the name of Reb Chaim Volkin, that he says, it says in the parasha that at the beginning of the parasha that Yitzchak and Rivka were davening for a baby. They didn't have a baby. Each one was davening in his corner. And Hashem vayater loi. Hashem answers Yitzchak's tefillas, not Rivka's tefillas. The question is why? Rashi explains, Ein adoyme tefillas tzadik ben tzadik, tzadik ben Rosha, Yitzchak is a tzadik ben Avram, a tzadik. Rivka is a tzadikes bas Rosha besuel. So, question is, we know b'mokim shebal tshuva oidim ein tzadikim murim yicholim lamoid, the darga of a bal tshuva that's much bigger than a tzadik. He wasn't born into it. He worked his own way up. So why is his tefillah less answered? So Reb Chaim Volkin says a very nice pshat, a story, mashal, of two soldiers who in the IDF. I think he said it about a different war, but it's the same idea. One of them comes from a family of military. His father was a big general. His grandfather fought in the Independence War. And the family of military. The other one, Shimon, that's Reuven Shimon, comes from a family of business. His father was a high-tech, did a big exit. His grandfather was a big entrepreneur in property. And they both the same talents and the same level of wisdom and strength, and they both go and they very good soldiers, and they go through course Tzinin, they become upper stage, and they're in Gaza, and suddenly they're in a house, suddenly out of a tunnel, a few terrorists come and surround them, and they're sure they're going to die. And a second before they say Shema Yisrael, Reuben goes and does some army trick. He makes the terrorists think that behind them there's lots of IDF soldiers. They turn around, meanwhile they shoot all the terrorists and kill them. After the story, Shimon comes to Reuben and tells him, Reuben, we both went to the same training, everything. Thank you very much, you saved my life, but I was sure I'm going to die. How did you come up with this idea, with this trick to save our lives? So Reuben told Shimon, I'll be honest with you. You know, my grandfather fought in the Independence War. One time in a Shabbos meal, many years ago, we were talking about the Independence War, and my grandfather, Shmuel, told us a story that they were in a place hiding from the Arabs, and then they came, surrounded them, and they threw a grenade behind the Arabs. The Arabs thought that they're surrounded, and they ran away. So from here we can see that sometimes it's not so much about where you studied and how much you know. Some things that to do with your family, there's some knowledge that comes in your family to know how to do things. You could go to the school, to university, you won't know, but if in your family, your father's a military guy, you know stuff about military that they won't teach you in the army. And if your father's a businessman, you know how to get good mortgages that they might not teach you in university. So therefore, that's Pshat. Tzaddik ben Tzaddik, it's not Pshat that he had a higher darga and therefore Hashem answers his tefillas and not Rivka. Just knows technique. When a person davens to Hashem, it's for sure his heart, and Hashem answers everyone. But there's also involved, it's not only your words and your kavanah. There's another thing in davening. It's like a milchama. It's like a bow and arrow. There's technique how to use davening, and therefore Yitzchak knew how to use the technique better than Rivka. He had a father who was Avraham Avinu, who taught him lots of techniques in davening, and that's why Hashem answered him. And just as an example of what's a technique in davening, we can see it in Shmona Esra, and Rav Nachman talks about it when he do his boididus, is to first say thank you Hashem, I have what to wear, I have what to eat, I have what to drink, I have family, I have friends, etc., etc. And then you could ask Hashem, please help me with this business deal, to understand this tosfos, to get a parking lot, whatever you need. And then after you finish, say thank you again. Thank you on the good things I have. Thank you that I still have hairs on my head. Some people my age don't. And thank you, and thank you, and thank you. So you could have two people, they're both davening for the same thing, but one knows to say thank you and before and after, and one doesn't. He'll feel is stronger. And that's Pshat, why Hashem, Vaya'ater loy, and not to Rivka, the chance.